Mission Impossible Rogue Nation was directed and written by Christopher McQuarrie, and it starred, of course, Tom Cruise, Simon Pegg, Jeremy Renner, Alec, Baldwin, Rebecca Ferguson, and Sean Harris. This is the fifth movie in the franchise, and it's probably the best fifth movie in any franchise ever, because it takes the best elements of the best movies in this franchise and it meshes them together beautifully. And welcome back to my last geek classic in my series of Mission Impossible reviews. Fallout is about to come out. I can't wait to watch that movie and to bring you a review for that. Unlike that review, this one, like my classic Mission Impossible reviews, will have spoilers. You have been warned and you should have seen this movie by now, so please go treat yourself. And after losing their cred in Ghost Protocol, the IMF faces their most deadly foe yet, the Syndicate, a secret rogue organization that nobody believes to be real, and whose sole purpose is to eradicate the IMF. The Mission Impossible franchise was taken to the peak of its existence with Ghost Protocol. Rogue Nation picks all those great elements along with the great elements that founded this franchise in number one and crams them together to create one suspense-fueled story. Narratively speaking, this is a far more suspenseful film than I remember. It's far more intense than I remembered. This truly is a tension-driven espionage thriller from the get-go, and until the very end of the film, the game Solomon and Ethan are playing is a mental game. From the very first scene we see our villain in, his first action is to shoot someone just to play with Ethan's mind. And yes, we have lots of stunt work and lots of thrilling action sequences, but what's really at play and how the action in the narrative is driven forward is with mental games, and there's not really anything more spy-like than that. It's like Mission Impossible 1 and Ghost Protocol had a baby. McQuarrie helms the movie beautifully with elongated sequels that don't ever stop. This is not slow motion or scenes where nothing is happening like Mission Impossible 2. These are elongated. We are there in the thick of it with our characters. They're never sure what to do next. Yes, they have the IMF right now, but not even the IMF trusts them, and that's where they find themselves up against a wall. Like the theater sequence where Isla Faust comes in, played by Rebecca Ferguson, and she is an MI6 agent herself, and so she suspects the IMF as well because she is infiltrating the Syndicate, and so she doesn't want anybody interfering with that. This is an excellent sequence where you're never sure where it's going to go. We are never sure who is going to get the upper hand on who, and McQuarrie keeps this throughout the film, with the scene serving as a prime example. Something I also love about the film is that it doesn't forget the importance of team dynamic that was brought on in Ghost Protocol, now with Ving Rhames being a full-on addition to this team. There's a sense of worry and weariness. Their back and forth is completely different from Ghost Protocol. There's history between them. There's an evolved sense of camaraderie. These people have been through shit together, and we feel it. We see it in their eyes. We see it in their body language. We see it in the way they talk to each other and the way they look at each other. And I mentioned her briefly, but let's talk about Rebecca Ferguson in this film. She is so great. She's a perfect combo of sensuality and ruthlessness. You really believe this woman can do anything. She can basically kill you with her toe. And that's how lethal she is in this film. And that's how much of an equal she is to Ethan Hunt. Even he is not up to her. Even he is not sure if he can stand up to her and rival her and her prowess. And it's not news to anyone that Tom Cruise is amazing in these movies, but he really brings it in this one. Rewatching it for this review, I really felt that he was playing the Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible 1 all over again, except now he's a much more veteran, a much more experienced, a much more worn out version of that character. Of course, that's natural if you're creating a good character, but I really saw those elements brought out in his performance. And of course, as I mentioned briefly, the action sequences and the stunt work are mesmerizing to watch, but in this film they reach a whole new level. Like the way the movie starts with the airplane sequence that's just chilling to no end. You're sweating as soon as this movie begins. or the motorcycle chase sequence. This is the best motorcycle chase I have ever seen. Remember how I mentioned elongated sequences? Well, McQuarrie in this makes a car chase evolve into a motorcycle chase, and I didn't want it to end. I wanted, the first time I saw this movie, I wanted the whole rest of the film to be just this motorcycle chase sequence because it's just so friggin' amazing, and I want that Hawaiian shirt that Tom Cruise has in that sequence. Or the tank infiltration scene where Tom Cruise, in reality, trained himself to hold his breath underwater for 6 minutes. I swam for a long time when I was a kid. I was in the national team. I could hold my breath up to 2 minutes. I never knew 6 minutes were possible. Tom Cruise, you son of a bitch, at 53 or 52, he holds his breath underwater for 6 minutes. How? Tell me the secrets, master of everything. Funny enough, rewatching the movie, to my surprise, the villain is really good. This is the best villain in the Mission Impossible franchise. Sean Harris is excellent at playing the role, but the character himself is compelling. He has motivation. We can get behind him. We know why he feels this way and how he feels that the actions he takes are the only ones that are logical to be taken. He wants revenge on MI6, and we understand where he's coming from. We understand it throughout the film, from the very first scene where he starts playing the mind games with Ethan Hunt. So much so that the movie teases that it's going into another action sequence like any other movie before this one went, and like we know the Mission Impossible movies to do, and yet they play mind games with each other, and Ethan Hunt catches Solomon in the glass case from the beginning of the movie. And that is excellently done in this film. I have one small issue with this film, and that goes back to my review for Ghost Protocol, where I felt like they avoided making the movie feel like Alien 3 to the other movies that came before. This one really doesn't. Paula Patton is gone in this film. As well as Lawrence Fishburne, who, yes, didn't come back in the other film, but I felt like the role that is played by Alec Baldwin, yes, completely different character, but I felt like the authority he presented in this film could have been played by Lawrence Fishburne back from MI3. Why did I blank on that? It's a really small issue, but Ghost Protocol did that one so well that I was expecting this one to do it again. But this is a film that doesn't have any dead moments, with plans being made and remade because of so many twists and turns. It combines the two different extremes of each genre that this franchise is known for, and it makes for a fun, entertaining, suspenseful, chilling, action-packed thrill ride with amazing characters and yet another reinvigoration of the spy genre. I like Ghost Protocol just a little bit more. However, I am still going to give Rogue Nation the stuff that dreams are made of. 4 and 5 really are the two best ones of this franchise, but I want to know what you think. Do you prefer Rogue Nation or Ghost Protocol? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, if we find out that 50% of people like Rogue Nation better and other 50% like Ghost Protocol better, let's hope that we can all come together in enjoying Fallout the most. Thank you so much for watching, my beautiful geekies, for joining me in this journey through the Mission Impossible franchise. I can't wait to talk with you guys, spoiler free of course, about Fallout. And so until the next video or any other that might come before, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and the bell so we can be geeky united!